Hi, friends. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to Talk
Hello,
Talk.
friends and friendettes.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Today is the 12th of April, which is pretty Gucci. Yeah.
No sound.
It's working. I know it's working.
They're lying.
Yeah, go hide his lying.
Okay.
I know these things. I can see my equalizer.
You guys are trolls, man.
Right.
Quake is too loud compared to Huey
He's always
again.
too loud compared to me. Nothing I knew about it. Actually, there's something I can do about it. I can try to do something about it. I'll try to do something about it right now.
Can't you just turn your mic up?
Yeah, right. Right. Hold on, guys. Let me crank the Huey to 11.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And before all of their ears are bleeding momentarily.
Yeah.
Now you both are ear blasting, yeah. Cause I'm like really loud on the VODs and stuff, so I think ideally I'd be turned down instead of Huey be turned up. But as long as we're equal, you guys can adjust your own volume.
Yeah.
At least for this episode.
How are we doing now? Are we doing okay now? Are we Gucci? Is all good in the hood? Are we fly?
Like a white guy? Like
Pretty
pretty fly?
I don't know if we're that fly, but
Well, we're definitely not fly.
it's good.
It's good. Okay. Sorry for all the
good. No worries. Let's hit that
delayed
intro.
stuff.
Let's hit that intro.
That official professional Top Clack intro.
How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone is doing good. I am a man of interest, joined by my wonderful co-host Quakeums. I don't know why I always point to the other way that you actually are for my screen. Like,
Yeah. I do that too because like on Skype, we're oriented different than how we are on the screen. Like on the stream, so it's like just kind of guess.
We've done this for over a year, so you think like we can like left and right, right?
If Top Clack is anything, we're slow learners.
But as Camel Leopard says, it's Thursday, my dudes. Hell yeah, it's Thursday. Brian, how's your week been?
I've pretty much been dying. I've been sick, so it's been meh. I'm on some medication now, which is hopefully going to start helping pretty soon. But yeah, not a whole lot other than that. I haven't been into enough keyboard stuff this week, unfortunately, but hoping to get back in the swing of things. Got some GMK Violets. Opened up a package today, found those. That's pretty cool. Gonna try to put those on a something, as well as use my acrylic Top Clack plate, which I haven't yet.
Yeah, you should. So you can do the final, give us the final okay, and we can finally start peddling those out to all you awesome people who want to grab some.
For sure. Yep. Other than that, usually we have a ton of news, a ton of cool news, but today I'm going to be honest, we don't have very much news.
It's okay, because I got mail today.
What'd you really? What'd you get?
I got the way we're calling them way palms, or the cherry profile POM blanks on KBD fans. I got those in today. Threw it on my Night Fox. I'm like, ooh, that looks clean. Feels pretty good. Feels palm.
Feels palm, man.
Feels palm.jpg. Yeah, fortunately it comes with that short shift, so I can, and the Night Fox has a standard spacebar, so I can kind of use everything. And I also got something else from KBD fans, because as you guys know, I've been doing a few profile reviews lately and keycap reviews. So I wanted to review that palm cherry profile. On an interesting note, I also got these very interesting double shot PBT cherry profile in Dolch.
Whoa.
So that's going to be pretty interesting as
that actually
Brian's
looks okay.
camera unfocuses him.
Again?
And
come on, man.
Here, because my microphone unplugged, or my headphones unplugged. So let me fix that.
Feels Top Clack, man.
Top Clack. Top Clack.
I can fix my camera in just a second.
Yeah.
Okay, autofocus, turn off. Alright, I should be good now.
I'm actually pretty excited to try out these these DualShock PBT. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed in their texture as initial impressions.
Are they really grainy?
They're not How grainy, but they're not ePBT smooth.
Okay.
Right? So
what's the price on those though?
they're like 60, 70 bucks.
And that gets you
104 plus short shift plus an extra row for 1U, so 106 key. So I have that short shift, so I'm probably gonna also try it out on the Night Fox later. But some of the legends are kind of bad.
Ooh.
Like, ooh. You guys will hear more about that on the review.
Yeah. Anyways, we should move on with the show.
Yeah,
that's what we should do.
Moving the show is
People
to the news.
People don't want to just listen to us bullshit when we're not building keyboards.
I'll be doing build streams this weekend though. I'm getting a TX60 soon. Yeah.
I might be down for a build stream as well.
I could do one tonight. I've things to do.
I can't do one tonight.
Rip.
I could do one tomorrow, or possibly Saturday. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's jump into the news here. We do have some, even though it's not a lot. This is definitely the week of keycaps, that's for sure, because that's the bulk of our news, whether that's fortunate or unfortunate for you guys. I would honestly say unfortunate, just because I don't really care that much about keycaps these days, as long as it's cherry profile.
Well, this one is GMK Violet tendencies, Voxicles, updated. Yeah. It's happening. Which is cool. It's going to be running through Dixie Mech, and Garrett of Dixie Mech's been doing a great job with running that site. He did 9009 round 2, which did was very amazing. Hype. Did really hype. I still have my set. I still love my set. So it's going to be happening soon. We don't have a date yet, it looks like, but
I would imagine, I imagine he wouldn't have posted this if it actually wasn't
going to be really soon. My guess is within the next week.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say 2 weeks, but yeah, maybe a week. Maybe a week.
Yeah, maybe. I also want to say, Grouchy Cupcake, thank you so much for your sub with Twitch Prime, by the way. Yeah.
Very nice. Great use of that Twitch Prime. I think that is absolutely stellar use of Twitch Prime subbing to us.
So
I'm not being biased.
Yeah.
But
I've one little snaggle with GMK Violet tendencies. I feel some people do share this, because in my opinion that renders very overexposed in terms of lighting. So I feel like the actual contrast between the dark purple and the black for the modifiers may not be as pronounced IRL.
Yep.
I think it'll still turn out really well, but I think that's just definitely something people need to take into consideration.
Yeah.
But otherwise, those alphas. Yeah, I can dig that.
Yeah, I mean, this is effectively hydro but purple, which is what a lot of people have been asking for, and the set is pretty hype, and it's been teased for a long time now, so people finally able to get what they want. I think it looks good. I like hydro, and I like this.
I didn't get Taro to get this, basically.
Oh. I think I like Taro a little bit more personally, but I understand. This set's a little bit more simplistic. In a good way.
Yeah. Speaking about simplistic.
Speaking of not simplistic.
I was going to say simplistic in a bad way, but also not simplistic.
Okay, yeah, that's fine too.
GMK Saiyan is a set Jacob4341 has thought of. And it's a set.
It's a set. It is a key set. I think it's really mind-blowingly eye-tearing. Like it just pierces my eyes. Kind of hurts. And I'm colorblind, so I only imagine what this looks like to people that aren't. I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't like it. One thing I do love about it is the novelty kits. I like the Dragon Ball novelties, just like the stars. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
other than that, I think the set is not very good. But it's very different, which is good in a way, as I always say.
This is the bad kind of different. This is not what I'm looking for. This is.
I always look. I mean, I always try to be nice because like some people probably like this. I mean, I'm gonna be totally honest. He hasn't gotten much interest on it in the 6 days that it's been up. So I think more people probably dislike this than like it. But good on him for trying something, I guess, if nothing else. But yeah, the what is that? The V2 color of the alphas, not the alphas, the alpha keys, not the legends. That it's actually kind of painful to look at. I really don't like to be mean about it, but I don't know. How does Twitch chat feel about this?
Yeah, they're not as they're not terribly big fans either. It looks like.
Oh, okay. Well, it's an interest check. If you like it, support it, because otherwise this is not happening.
Something that is happening for sure is this Mito SA Pulse set. It is back for the umpteenth time now.
Third.
Man, I just remember 3 years ago, Mito said, "I'll never run this set again because it will devalue the set for people who already own it." And now he's going to keep running it over and over and over. So,
well, to be fair, devaluing a set to the people already own it is kind of a bad reason to not run something. Yeah. You should not run a set that a lot of people want just because you want the sets that already exist to be rarer and more valuable so people can sell them at a higher price. That's a dumb reason. It's a really dumb reason.
Well, fortunately, good thing he's changed his tune because it's now available again. This time with some nice differences. I know a lot of people have been interested in the Violet, which is a violet pulse, basically. It's very laser-esque, for sure, in an SA kind of way, which is a good alternative for a lot of people who want something very, very loud. Icon mods, that's a good plus that a lot of people have been asking for, because I know there's been a lot of people who've been who are really on that raw icon mod life, which is kind of a new resurgence because most sets are like just text. Now they're starting to do some sets with like a mix of text and icons, and there's some people who want to live that full icon lifestyle. So now it's a thing. They also have the Theater Rams alphas that were also in the Canvas set, which was XDA. So yeah, this is it's selling well. It looks like so. Alpha is 539 orders. It's a pretty cool amount.
Yeah. I mean, this set's pretty much always been popular. It's always going to sell.
Yeah.
So, unsurprisingly, we're getting pretty decent numbers already on this. At 1,000 orders, the alphas become $35. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, not too shabby. Not too shabby. Let's move on to some more SA news. Moving on over to Kono.store, we have the group buy which just started for SA Troubled Minds.
Yep, another set that's coming back from the dead. This was another set that saw really, really high popularity when it first came out. It went for huge amounts of money on the aftermarket. So and then it kind of I thought it kind of just died out, but apparently people still are really into it enough so that it is being ran again.
Yeah. It had like the remember if like we used to talk a lot about the GMK TA Royal Alpha. Kind of had that effect where not that many, a decent amount, but not that many people actually bought it when it ran, But after it ran, once like people started posting pictures, it was like a gotta have it thing for so many people who liked SA, and the prices just went up for a while.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't like this set at all.
No, no, no.
I think it suffers the same way that GMK Saiyan interest check set suffers. I do think the novelties are kind of neat if you're into that sort of thing. I mean, it's a very Joker themed set. That's how this set started. But yeah, I'm not really into it otherwise. But that's just me. And I mean, obviously, if you're into it, then there are a lot of people are. Head over to Color.store, check it out.
Mm-hmm. They got a decent amount of kits. Get your alphas, 40s, Kovorak, Ergo, non-standard, which is like your Songon, Winkila stuff. Numpad, perp mods. For ISO people, they did the Nordeuk. I'm just gonna call it Nordeuk because it's Nordeuk. It's one word. There's no spaces. Nordeuk.
You're not wrong,
right?
Yeah,
Nordeuk set. Space bars, including split support, oddly enough. Yeah. Novelties are $70 though. I think that's a bit steep. But understandable.
Yeah.
But
that's steep. SA sets are like, so signature plastics SA sets are like never cheap though.
Yeah, they've always been a pretty penny.
You spend the $100 to $120 to outfit a standard TKL, and if you need anything else, you're spending like $200 for the set or more. I know a lot of people like they go on an SA sets and like, oh yeah, like I need to cover like, you know, this kind of non-standard board, and I spent like $230, and I'm like, what? Like, why are SA sets so expensive? Like, if you go to why is the name slipping me? Originative. And like you straight up buy like a full set of SA, which because they do like fully compatible SA sets there, and they're like $260.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money. It's like 2 GMK sets. Like people think GMK is expensive. No. SA is like so much more expensive per cap.
So you're mentioning, you know, $120 can barely cover you a standard TKL if you go SA. But hey, if you go EnjoyPBT with this new 9009 for $120, you're covering quite a bit. 178 keys for $120 for the pre-order for EnjoyPBT 9009 on KBD fans. They're going to be producing 200 sets, estimated to take 45 days. Shipment end of May. Yeah. So the thing about this set, interestingly, so a long time ago, J-Chan attempted to run this on Clack, and it failed miserably. It bombed. Is the easiest way to say it. It bombed, and one of the main reasons was the accent colors just weren't there. They just were completely off. So I'm curious to see how well they pull off the accent colors, because for 9009, that makes the set. Otherwise, if you have no accents, 9009 is just classic retro. It's just beige, the normal beige set.
Yeah. Which I think is still fine.
Which is still fine. But they have a normal beige set you can buy already on their site for
sure.
For cheaper.
For much cheaper.
So.
Yep. Yep.
Compatibility is great, though.
I used GMK 9009. I do not use the accents. I don't. But at the time, between round 1 of GMK Classic Retro and round 1 of GMK 9009, it wasn't actually just the accents. 9009 actually had more compatibility than GMK Retro.
Yes, and it still does.
Yeah, which was the reason I got that over GMK Classic Retro, because otherwise I would have just gotten Classic Retro. Okay, I'm gonna make note of something in the chat right now that some people are kind of getting a little confused about. So they're talking about how much we hate SA and how much we hate like everything about SA, and I'm gonna make a correction. Huey and I hate typing on SA.
Yeah,
we like the way it looks, and the way it feels is like, you know, we don't love it. It's whatever, but that doesn't change the way we feel about colorways. There are a lot of very nice looking SA sets out in the world. there are a lot of not so nice looking SA sets out in the world. It just so happens that some of the ones that we're talking about today, I'm not as much of a fan of. It's just the way it is. I do think SA does and look very good. I think it looks often very amazing. So don't think that we just hate SA for the sake of hating SA. We try to remain pretty neutral here. And we always make sure to make note of when our personal opinions are just that. Our personal opinions. So keep that in mind. I do think SA looks good. I do think SA often sounds good if it's on the right board and the right switch. But that doesn't mean I have to like typing on it, which I don't. So, yeah. Just saying. But not GMK Saiyan.
No, not GMK Saiyan.
Ooh. Never GMK Saiyan. All right, moving on. We got GMK Metaverse, which is a pretty nifty name, IMO.
Yeah, this is inspired by Persona 5, 4, 5. I haven't played the games. I just know it's inspired by Persona. Got some renders here.
Yep. And it looks like, once again, we are using these hiragana sub-legends that we're seeing a lot more these days now that we have the molds for it.
Heck yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. I love the simplicity of the set. Looks like just a lot of black, white, red.
Yeah, it's simple. I like simple. Ooh.
Me too.
Ooh. I'd rock this just white on black.
You know what's funny is, like, all the time I see people ask for just a GMK white on black / like black on white set like this without the hiragana sub-legends. And it's like, no one's ever read it.
It has. GMK Originative is just white on black.
No. I don't mean an all white on black or all black on white. I mean the alphas are black on white, okay. And then the mods are white on black.
Gotcha.
So it's funny because, like, all the time for years I've been hearing people be like, "Oh man, I really wish like I could just get like something like really simple like this," and like nobody's even tried to run it. I don't know. That's pretty funny. But here we effectively get that, just with some alterations.
There's good commitment on the icons until you get to the nav cluster. Like, if you're gonna go all icons, consider going all the way. Is all I got to say.
Yeah, check. So, how do you feel about this caps lock legend? I think this is the first time I'm seeing this on a GMK set.
That's how I think.
I'm not loving it, but I wouldn't not use it.
Maybe they just incorrectly photoshopped the correct.
Well, isn't this like an actual official GMK render? Or am I? I'm not drunk. I promise you, I'm not drunk.
It's too early for that.
I don't know. Well, even on the renders with the boards, if you scroll down a little bit, it's still the same caps lock legend. So I don't know. Maybe that's just one that GMK offers that we haven't seen before because no one picks it. Either way, I think the set is looking pretty successful.
Well, here's how it normally looks. It's rounder on the bottom. I have it here in my Saiyan. So I think those are just incorrect renders. TBH.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I just work here. There's Persona accents. Yeah, I hope this goes well. It's pretty cool. I mean, I would just get like the base, and I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah.
TBH.
Yeah. Yeah. It's simple. There's a little bit of color if you want. You got the hiragana sub legends. It's nice. I like it. Hopefully the price will not be too high on this one. But we'll see.
Yeah. Speaking of things where the price won't be too high, is a very simple 4 novelties that you can get from Donut Cat, which are the Heck Keys. Alas of our keyboard news.
Keycap news.
Keycap news. Yeah, that's how much is it? $3.60 for a single one, or $11 for all 4 of these Wheelo Heck Keys.
Yep, that's at 150 MOQ. At 250 MOQ, it goes down a little bit to $9.50 and $3 respectively for quad and single. So I don't know. I think it's cool. It's fun. But like, was this something that people were asking for?
Why Skeletor colorway? Like white on red, super common. That's a Dolch accent. That makes perfect sense. White on black. Okay, that's super common. That's really simple. Goes with a lot of things. Gray on green. That's like That's like Royal Alpha TA. Okay. Um. Skeletor. Like Nani?
Huh.
Or is it maybe
I
maybe it's
don't know.
Hyperfuse? I don't know.
No, that's Skeletor, right? No, no, the
Skeletor would be
reverse.
reverse. I don't know, dude.
Reverse,
I don't know. I
I
Zork
think.
But yeah, you can get some Heck Keys for pretty cheap, I guess. Um,
I wonder, like,
oh
why
heck,
is this a thing?
I don't know.
Like, not that I'm saying it shouldn't be a thing, but like, why were people asking for heck keys? Or is this like a meme? I don't understand.
I
I'm
don't
not
know,
really
man.
too like into the whole meme side
It's
of
gonna be
keyboards, so maybe it's something I
waving my
don't know.
cane at the sky. I don't understand either.
Too old for this stuff, man.
Yeah. You know, you're speaking of being old. You know, it's great when you're old. Things that are adjustable for ergonomics and comfort. You know, those are great when you get old. And someone who had that in mind was Plastic Schmidt-Stell. I probably butchered that name. But they introduced the SKB75 and SKB60, which is a pretty cool idea of a case because it's height adjustable to give you 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14 degrees of angle, which is pretty nifty.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we talked about this case a while back when it was still a wee little IC thread, and I would be totally honest with you, I freaking loved it. I thought it was an absolutely awesome design. I loved like the kind of like raw industrial look of it. Like it's not trying to be like something like overly elegant, like a like a super high end premium Korean custom or whatever. Like this is like its own thing. And like not only does it look like really kind of like raw and industrial and kind of like futuristic in a way, you also get that sweet feature of the height adjustability, which I think is like really awesome. Like I wish we had more of that at this level of board on other boards. I think it's amazing. And like everything is just steel.
I just wish the screws were either
Or the
countersunk,
plates, I mean.
either countersunk, or they screwed in from the other side, so you wouldn't see the big bolts on top. He did state that
Nah, man.
he did it that way because it'd be easier to manufacture, but I don't know.
I like it this way. I love that look. Like I want that. I think that's awesome. It's just like it's so different. Like it's not like every other board. Like they just did everything like different. And I think that's really cool. Anyways, there's lots of versions for this.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
At 40 units, we're looking for the 60% because, come on, we only care about the 60% here usually. 148 euros, but if you get up to 100 units sold, that drops from 148 to 128 euros. So it's a 20 euro drop for the 60%. While the 75% is a drop from 168 to 145.
Yep. So anyone that doesn't feel like doing the conversion, I actually pulled up a euro to dollar converter before the show, and so for the 60% at 40 units, 148 euros is about $182, and 128 euros is about $158. So that's the difference between the 40 MOQ and the 100 MOQ. So pretty nice.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Pretty nice.
Do note that like a lot of other customs, you're going to be paying international shipping, and here it's not exactly cheap. He does say he's going to be using DHL, and to the USA that's going to be about 40 euros, which is about $50. And there's also going to be PayPal fee. So obviously that that brings up the cost quite a bit. That's literally a third of the board cost at 100 units. So you pay an additional 33% just for shipping on that 100 MOQ 60%. So kind of rough on shipping there. Obviously, when you're buying like a $500 board, $50 for shipping doesn't really seem that bad. But $50 for shipping on like a $150 board is kind of high. But again, I think the initial price for this is actually like not too bad, even if the shipping is kind of a lot to the US. I think the price for the board itself is still pretty reasonable for the features that you get. So yeah, I don't know. I would love to see this succeed and succeed well.
I'd like it to succeed. Yeah, I hope it does well. I hope it does well.
Yeah, he does estimate shipping will be June of this year, so 2 months. 2 months away.
Not too shabby.
That is probably an estimate though, so take that with a grain of salt.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Let's move on to another fun little group buy news. This is more. It's not like a full keyboard, but this is a PCB that I think some people will find pretty interesting. It is the group buy for the HS60 PCB, a hot swap 60% with SMD RGBs. It's going to be running for 3 weeks and hoping to ship 2 to 3 weeks for a mid-May release, surprisingly. €50 for the group buy price, and after group buy price, it's going to be €65. It's available in ANS.
That's not actually euro. Sorry, that's pound.
Oh, that's pound. Oops, my bad. I'm American. It's all the same to me.
It's fine. Keep talking.
It's all expensive. Yeah. It's in ANSI and ISO layouts. Standard bottom row, so 1.25 times 3, 6.25, and then 1.25 times 4. It's all standard, but it's all hot swap compatible.
Yeah, so after shipping for 65 pounds, that is $92 US. So not exactly cheap, but when you compare it to one of the only other things on the market that has SMD RGB per key, the Zeal 60, this starts to look a little bit more attractive because the Zeal 60 usually is between about $100 and $120, depending on A stock or B stock, you know, when and where you buy it, etc. So to have a sub 100 that also supports hot swap sockets is pretty cool. Pretty cool. QMK support, so you know all the true keyboard nerds will be happy, and Huey and I will wallow in self-pity.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's okay. So there are 2 versions, ANSI and ISO. So all you Nordic people will be a little bit happier.
Nordic.
Yeah. He does have a nice little FAQ in here as well, if you're curious about any of the questions and answers. But yeah, pretty cool little product.
You know, it's a pretty cool little project or product. Pizza.
Yes.
Pizza's really cool, and you know it has pizza on it.
It's true.
The Fox Lab Orange 75 has pizza on the back. Wonderfully. I love this weight. There's a pizza on the back.
No, I love it too. I remember when the TKL came out that these guys did,
Pizza
and
TKL?
people just started calling it the Pizza 80 or whatever, and I was like, what does that mean? And then I saw the weight. So it's obviously supposed to be an orange, but
see, Fox Lab Orange 75. Cool. I like the staggered top for a 75. I like the blocker for the arrows. I like the LED indicators up top there on top of the right column. Ooh.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Actually, one of the reasons I like this case a lot is because you get so much case for the money. So I've talked about this before on the show, but when you're paying, you know, $200, $300, $400, $500 for a case, why are you paying that much for a case? Because you like the case and you want the case to be known. Like, you want people to look at that and be like, that is that case. That this guy is a badass. He bought this. He's cool. And, you know, because this has the segregated F keys and the blocker there, like, you're seeing a lot of case here, even with the keycaps on. I really like that. Like, I don't like when someone pays like $400 for a board, puts keycaps on it, and you can't even see the case anymore. What's the point? You know, like, you want to be able to see that case.
And if you want to, not only if you want to see it, but if you really want to feel that case, you can get the all brass in a mirror gold for $540 Renos.
Yep. Also note, oddly enough, so if you're trying to select that, you have to select the full brass mirror gold in the kit. Then you have to go to the next drop down menu to insert and plate color and pick mirror gold. That's the only way you can get the full brass version. Otherwise, it'll just tell you it's unavailable.
Yeah.
But pretty cool stuff. But yeah, $540. It's actually cheaper than a lot of the other like all brass boards that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good pricing, TBH.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, how much was the all brass E6?
900.
It was definitely, yeah, it was way over 540.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I mean, this is gonna have the free shipping too, because Z Frontier is awesome, and anything over $100 is free shipping.
I mean, yeah, even the all aluminum kit, $270.
$270, pretty reasonable.
That's very reasonable.
I like it. It comes in look at these colors: baby blue, rose gold, fresh orange, charcoal black. What is the fresh orange? I need the fresh orange, man.
Fresh orange. Ooh.
And then in the plate color, you can get sand gold.
It's not free shipping, according to Running Heck.
Really?
Yeah, it says shipping details, shipping not included in pricing details due to the specific nature of this group buy. Shipping fee will be invoiced separately after the group buy.
Does it say that on the
Yes.
Z Frontier page? Okay.
Yes.
Well, then, our apologies. I did not see that. Terribly sorry.
Our
that.
B. Our B.
Yeah, we do make mistakes from time to time. It does happen. Sorry about that.
Hey, you know what?
It's just it's deceptive because right above like the pictures and stuff, it says free shipping on orders over $100.
Yeah.
It should not say that on this page, just because I think other people might make that mistake.
But you know what it does say?
What does it say?
If you scroll down, there's an option for a bootmapper client PCB.
Oh,
Oh, feels good. Thank you. Thanks, Fox Labs. Thank you.
very nice, very nice.
Thank you for accommodating people like Brian and I with our QMK disabilities.
Yes, look, you can get QMK or bootmapper. Like, how could anyone be upset that you have that option?
Yeah. Man, 270 even without shipping. That's pretty good.
I'm curious to see how much shipping is, but they're usually pretty good about this kind of stuff, so I imagine it's not terrible. The group buy opened on the 8th and it closes on the 18th, so you still got about 6 days left before this closes. Estimated ship date is July, so about 3 months away. Pretty generous, but probably pretty reasonable. So
yeah.
One thing I never actually looked at the Fox Lab TKL, but is it flat or are there feet?
It is flat.
It's 100% flat. Okay. Gotcha. I didn't really notice it until now, but that makes sense.
Some thick feet.
Some big bump-ons. Yeah.
Give it like,
yeah, especially when I'm using
4 degrees.
Yeah. I dig it. Cool.
So.
Good stuff. All right. Last but not least, I do want to talk about something that's happening tomorrow. So tomorrow, I and possibly Huey, I'm going to be sitting down with a bunch of popular European keyboard enthusiasts and designers. Let me make sure I get this right. It's going to be Zombuman, Oblotsky, Maito, Wodan, and Tombury. So we got 5 of arguably like the most influential designers in the community at the moment. They're all together in Germany right now. I think they were doing some stuff with GMK, touring their factory and maybe some other things. And they asked if we could sit down and talk with them, and they can tell us about lots of stuff. And so that's going to be pretty cool. That's going to be happening tomorrow. It's either going to be 3 p.m. Pacific time or 4 p.m. Pacific time, most likely. So I'm sorry I don't have a more concrete time for you, but that'll be happening tomorrow, late afternoon / pre-evening. And it's going to be a really good time because those guys are all really cool. And we've had a couple of them on before, but we haven't seen Wudan and we haven't seen Maito. So it'll be their first time on, and we'll be able to ask them questions and get them to reveal all of their deepest and darkest secrets. So that's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, Top Clack would not be here today if it weren't for our amazing sponsors.
Hell yeah.
And they allow us to have so much fun. So we have to, we got to talk about them because they deserve it. They're cool people. So I'm going to start us off with Chrono.store, which is run by Input Club. Input Club, one of our awesome sponsors. You can go check out lots of cool products there. They got the Kira Kickstarter still going on, which is doing really well as far as I'm aware. The White Fox keyboard you can pick up. That Kickstarter just shipped out pretty darn recently. People are I've been seeing lots of White Fox and Night Fox pictures up on Reddit. It's awesome. Love that. We talked about Troubled Minds essay earlier. That's on the group buy there if you're a big Batman Joker fan or whatever. What else they got going on right now? The GMK Violet switches. I feel like we haven't really talked enough about these lately.
Yeah,
they're kind of flown a little under the radar, but the GMK Violet switches are effectively the same as the clears and trues, but they have a much lighter spring. So if you're you were trying out the clears or the trues and you're like, oh crap, these are too heavy for me, give the violets a try because you might be surprised. They're much lighter. So I know a lot of like super light typists that can't even do like 62-gram switches, so these are much lighter, and they're going to feel a little bit more tactile too. So if you're one of those people that thought they were linear, they're not.
They're not.
And these will definitely be proving that for you. They also have speakers, these A5 Plus speakers, which actually is funny. These are actually really good speakers. Back when I was in the PC community, we used to talk a lot about these, but it's kind of odd to see them on Kono. But anyways. Pretty cool stuff. Head over to the apparel section and grab like a White Fox shirt and a Top Clack shirt because you're there. You might as well grab them both.
Yeah,
helps us out quite a bit, and you get to look good while doing it.
Yeah, you know what else can also help you look really good, Brian? A Novel Keys shoe shirt featuring the man himself, Mike of Novel Keys, who is our next sponsor I'd like to talk about, who have a large variety of switches, mostly the Kale variety, on his site. It's pretty cool. You should check out, a lot of people really like the Jades and the Navies. Those are probably the best clicky switches you can get today.
They are. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
No doubt.
So check out his stuff. Check out all of his stuff. GMK stabilizers, screw-in stabilizers. Heck yes.
GMK Olivia still going on right now. Last update, we're over 100 orders now, so that's pretty hype. We gotta keep going though. We gotta keep getting there, and maybe we can get a price drop if we get high enough. So get those orders in, man.
Yeah.
Get the price down.
Yeah.
I think I said this last week, but I want a shirt that's
him.
just a picture of him wearing the shirt. He just looks so goofy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That makes me like way too happy. I don't know why.
Check out Novel Keys. Check out those switches. Check out that shirt, and check out GMK Olivia. Brian, who's next on this wonderful sponsor list?
Speaking of good switches, our next sponsor is ZealPC.net, who has long been what I'm going to call the king of tactile switches in the community, because Zelios have for quite a while now, at least a couple of years, been arguably the most popular tactile switch on the market. And they're pretty good switches, especially if you check out the new 78-gram or new 67-gram. I think those are fantastic. They have updated springs and they feel a lot cleaner. It's a larger, rounder tactile bump. Everything is clean. They're all super smooth. Love it. Yeah, Telios in the mix too. If you're a fan of linears like I am, probably the best stock linear that you can get right now, particularly for smoothness. I don't think there are smoother switches on the market unless you happen to be amazing at lubing. And look forward to more stuff coming out of him. He's got the Zeal 60 PCBs with RGB. He's got those bling bling gold plated wire clear transparent stabilizers that are actually really good. If I had the choice, I would use them on all of my keyboards over Genuine Cherry, but Genuine Cherry are just they're a lot more accessible. They're cheaper and they're a lot more accessible, and I need a lot of stabilizers. Yeah. So unfortunately I can't use the Zeal stabilizers as much as I'd like to, but such is life.
Yeah. Speaking of accessibility, though, a lot of people say the East, China, is very difficult to access.
Nice.
But thanks to the beast in the East, Z Frontier, we get a lot of cool stuff from China, including awesome things like checking out that orange board by Fox Labs. No, sorry. I just have it right here too.
It's by Fox Labs.
Yeah, it's by Fox Labs. The orange 75. I was wondering which orange it was. The orange 75. Ooh, which is a great keyboard. They have a ton of key sets still available. They've been running a lot of pretty good group buys recently. Big fan. The Alpha X2s are shipping out, which are really cool. We didn't know, we forgot to talk about it. They also have the Fox Lab Orange Pad, which is a matching numpad for the Orange 75, and it comes in all brass. That brass numpad is heavier than some boards complete. Like, boy.
Boy. Oh, it's actually. Oh wait, never mind.
It's the same price in all brass as a all aluminum Orange 70.
Yeah, the all brass pad is 270.
But man, I was honestly considering getting one to match my E6, which is gonna be all brass because I have the all brass 60%. I have all that numpad. You know what I am saying?
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah. Check it out when you get a chance. It's pretty cool. Check out all of Z Frontier. They do amazing help for Top Clack. We really do appreciate them. We appreciate all of our awesome sponsors.
We wouldn't be here today if it weren't for them.
And we wouldn't be here without you as well, the viewer. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Now we're ready to start our next section of the show.
Yep. So we will be bringing on Andrew, the CEO of Input Club. It's been a little bit since he's been on. We have had him on before, but we'll get all the fancy new updates and see where Input Club has been the last several months and where they're heading.
Okay, I'm going to do this transition screen here. We are at a transition screen. You guys will see nothing. You guys will see placeholder text while...
You'll see things. You'll see the best transition screen you'll probably ever see in your life. How about that?
Yeah.
Are you inviting him or do you want me to?
I just clicked the invite button, right? Meow.
Okay.
The transition screen is so magical. Thank you, Flex.
We need some elevator music.
Do 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 do. Hello, Andrew. Thank you for joining us today on Top Clack. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, actually.
Don't you lie to me.
No, it's I woke up at about 5 in the morning to go pick up my visa at the Chinese consulate.
Ooh, trip to China soon.
Wait, pick up your what?
His visa.
Oh, visa. Okay. For a second, I thought you said pizza, and I was like, hold on.
The most exotic pizza.
I don't know why you need to go there for pizza, but if you're getting up at 5 a.m. to do it, it's probably pretty good pizza. All right, so we have had you on several months ago, but for those of you that are for the people that are new, why don't you give us a little bit of an introduction on who you are and what you do in our fine community?
Sure. So I'm the CEO of Input Club. I also run Kono Store, which are kind of separate things, but sort of linked because they're just connected. I handle most of the business stuff for Input Club and for Kono. So like running Kickstarters, doing marketing, going on Top Clack and visiting with people. Just a lot of all the stuff behind the scenes that doesn't necessarily, it's not really obvious, and it's less to do with the keyboard. I'm also currently like the only designer like that actually does any sort of keycap design at Input Club. So I just have lots of strong opinions on fonts and color schemes. But as far as actual keyboard design, I'm basically the only like non-engineer that contributes to building keyboards.
Nice. All right. So what have you guys been up to lately? What's been going right and what's been going wrong? That's even more fun.
Well, we are fulfilling our first Kickstarter, which is the White Fox. And we're about 3,000 White Foxes and Night Foxes and other products that all had to go out like last week. And no matter how good you are at shipping, doing like 3,000 things at once is hard. Everyone's problems happen at once, and they all happen at about the same time, and everyone wants a relatively quick response. And yeah, it's very challenging. But we did get all Kickstarter orders out to the addresses that were provided to us. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone has their keyboards, because we just shipped a lot of things all at once. But yeah, we got everything out the door, and now we're kind of cleaning up the issues that have arisen. And so some of the issues are like getting people who changed addresses at the last possible minute. I have a funny story. I'm not sure if my mom is listening, but we have, she forgot to put her address in and went through 17 emails and Kickstarter updates, and then was asking me like, where's my keyboard? How come you didn't ship me one? And I went, let's see what happened. And Cameron, who runs operations, he's Colvin in Discord and probably here as well, was like, yeah, your mom, she never put in her address. Probably should have reminded her of that. And so it's one of those close to home issues that's kind of funny. But almost everyone has gotten their keyboard. There are some issues with a couple of them. And so we're just taking returns and paying for shipping labels and emailing people labels and just kind of swapping them out on a one-on-one basis. Oh, and for the guy that said he didn't give his mom a keyboard, I did, but she asked to buy one. So
yeah, she's a good mom. She wants to support her son's company. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Anyway, but yeah, everything is going out, and anyone that hasn't gotten it, I'll say it here, I say it on every single channel, please send an email to support@kono.store, and if something's wrong with your order, we'll take care of it. I've said this on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Kickstarter updates, and still we get all these people who will like message me in the chat window of Instagram. That's not like a very great chat. Be like,
no,
hey,
it's really bad. It's really
like,
bad.
Hey, I didn't get my keyboard. What's going on? I was like, oh, I'll say hello, but please just send an email there so that it's all in like one spot and we can like handle it, because different people handle different issues. And that's kind of like this like big inbox that lets us handle things properly. So that's just what I'd ask. If you have any sort of issue, send a message there and we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, it turns out when you're like a legit proper business, handling support is way easier when it's in one spot and not across like 14 different platforms.
Yeah, basically that's it.
Weird concept, right?
Who would have known?
Like not only that, but like you need everything documented too. Like just in case you have to go back and like check stuff. Like people underestimate that. So make sure you're sending your support emails to the right place.
Yeah. And yeah, otherwise, everything has been going, I call it shockingly smoothly. We had only one major screw up where we accidentally sent like 20 to 30 people that ordered Night Foxes, White Foxes with Hako Trues. And so most of the screw ups that we've had have either been like the logistics company screwing up and like they just send things to the wrong places sometimes. It's just a thing that happens. When you ship a lot of stuff, you get to learn this, that UPS is not, or FedEx, they're not always awesome. And we accidentally did genuinely send like 30 people the wrong thing, that they didn't change their order to a White Fox when they thought they were like getting a Night Fox with Kaiwa Blues. And so we're just solving that. But yeah.
Pretty normal logistical stuff in the grand scheme of things. When you have thousands of orders, a couple of them are bound to you know have an issue. But you guys are working hard and fast to correct that, and that's always good to see. So tell us a little about what's been going on with the Kira. How is that project working?
Oh, it's been kicking butt. So like 8.5 minutes, we reached our goal, which
What? 8.5 minutes?
Very nice.
yeah, I thought it was really cool because like the last one, it took us for the White Fox, it took 48 hours, which is a good amount of time. That's like about how long you'd expect the Kickstarter to take.
Yeah.
And this one took 8.5 minutes, and I was like, well, I guess we've gotten better at this sort of thing. We just learned a lot of lessons, and we simplified things a lot. We had a really big wait list, and like we learned like one thing: Kickstarter's backend for like processing orders is absurd. You should never use it. For anyone that's doing Kickstarter, use one of the other services like BackerKit or literally anyone that will help you do fulfillment.
Yeah, some guy off the street that just wants like $15. Like,
yeah, do that, because Kickstarter's backend makes it really, really hard to tie a shipped order to a human. You can't like search based on backer number, for example. So like if you have the only unique ID you get as a Kickstarter backer is like your backer number. And if you go into Kickstarter's backend and you type that in, it goes like no results.
Wow.
Yeah, and is what it is. But basically, we're doing this next one. We've kind of structured it so that we can run it through Kono, so that everyone like gets a Kono order in place, and we'll get like tracking on time, and everything's immediate, and they'll get like regular updates and be tiered based on what they got. It's just better. Yeah.
nice.
So
Wow.
one funny thing.
8.5 minutes, man.
Yeah, one funny thing I definitely wanted to mention that I definitely appreciate, and I think it's pretty funny, is you scroll down on the Kickstarter page, media coverage of Input Club. You know, you've got like all the big guys, Tom's Hardware, Gizmodo, PC Gamer, The Verge, you know, all these big publications, and there's just Top Clack.
I thought you'd appreciate that. I made that.
Yeah, it's all good.
I made your logo slightly bigger than everyone else's too. I don't know if you noticed that. Just like
That's fantastic.
Just like I wanted the top and the clack to be just like a little bit more readable and right in the middle.
Oh man, I didn't realize like how vertical our logo was until it's up against all these horizontal logos.
Ours is a square.
Yeah. Everyone does it.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe one day we'll deserve to be among all those big name. That's awesome. We're like in the middle too. I love that.
You're our favorite news channel.
Thank you.
Yay!
Yay.
We're the only one that does like enthusiast grade keyboard stuff among this group also. So I will say that. Toot our own horns a little bit here. Okay, so a couple things I do want to make note of, like that we haven't talked about in quite a while. I know a long time ago when you first came on the show, Input Club was starting to back an esports organization, Denial Esports. Obviously, that didn't go quite as planned. But to me, as someone that like used to compete in esports and really loves the esports community, I'd really like to see a keyboard company like from our kind of niche, not like Corsair, Logitech, whatever, but like from our niche, like Input Club. I want to see that get fulfilled. So, do you guys have any kind of goals to do anything esports in the near future?
So we're currently sponsoring a Double Tap Esports, and they do a lot of cosplay and conventions and some gaming. They're a very cool organization, and their founder, Way Stark, is a pretty cool dude. Basically, I get a lot of outreach from them, and I don't know, some of the requests are just incredibly disorganized. And so we'd be amenable to working with one and working with a partner. Also, we're a little bit disorganized. A lot of these esport organizations, they really just like, they just want a keyboard, man. Like they want to type on a keyboard. And we, as of like a week ago, have keyboards. So it didn't super make sense to be able to do it before, because you'd like sponsor this team and they'd be like, wow, you guys make great keyboards. All our players should be using them. And then it's like, oh, yeah, we'll send you one in like 6 months. Is that okay?
Is that okay? Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know if that's okay. And so, it's something we'll go explore a little bit more. We're going to be meeting with some Korean esports teams, I believe, next week, because I think I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, Cameron and I are headed to Asia next week. And we're going to Korea and Shenzhen and a bunch of places in China. And yeah, we're just going to be doing a bunch of stuff and seeing what we can put together.
Drinking a lot of baijiu, I take it?
Like a lot.
Like a truly irresponsible amount, hopefully.
Which I don't know if people are familiar with like baijiu or like maotai, which are these Chinese alcohols. Oh my gosh, they are a thing and a half. I drink a lot. Like, I have a teacup right now that I'm drinking that's filled with like 60% rye whiskey. And that's just like, I casually drink grain alcohol that's like 97% alcohol. And maotai is brutal for me. It's so hard to drink, and I've been practicing and developing a taste for it, and now I'm pretty good at it in preparation for this trip. And it's pretty good, but it definitely is reminiscent of fragrant gasoline, and it's powerful. It's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Flexkey Passenger says, "I'm totally lost now. Are we talking about esports as in video games?" Yes, that's what I meant. Sorry if I didn't clarify that.
Not EA Sports.
Yeah, not EA Sports. Esports as in like electronic sports.
Oh yeah, someone asked like casually drinks 97% alcohol. For sure, you mix it with orange juice and you call it a scary screwdriver.
Yeah, it has to be scary though, like
it's real scary,
frightening. Anyways, I do want to get back to the esports thing just for a second. So, longtime viewers might remember we had professional Counter-Strike caster James Bardolph on the show a while back. He does dabble in keyboards. He likes the community, and we talked about a lot of like interesting points that, like you mentioned, like they just want keyboards. Like to them, it's just a keyboard. Like when you talk to any esports player, most of them they don't really have keyboard knowledge. Like they just use whatever's put in front of them. They buy whatever Corsair or Logitech or Razer board, and like, okay, yeah, this is automatically the best keyboard ever because it's, this is the one I'm using. Yeah, and like we were really trying to find ways to bridge the gap between, entry-level keyboard enthusiasts and esports players, so that because maybe certain layouts and switches and modification. Well, obviously they can't use modifications, but in the tournament scene, but like certain switches and layouts and whatever actually might make them a more comfortable player, and they would never know otherwise. So it's like, if we ever did get in a situation where an entity like Input Club is able to back an esports organization and provide keyboards that aren't just here's a full-size Razer with cherry blues, you get to experience something like Hako switches for example, or any Kale switch or whatever, or a layout like the Night Fox, which is all so foreign to all these esports players. Like all these switches and layouts are like, what is all this crap? But like, maybe we can kind of like usher them into the community a little bit and show them that there's so many new things and different things that might actually help them play better, for lack of a better example.
So I do have one thing for you that I think you'll find kind of interesting. You were talking about what are kind of their needs, and what are like, someone's asking about like, are there regulations for esports? And I have learned this now that I sponsor esports teams. Basically, they have to be able to open a box, pull a keyboard out, and play a game with it. They can't pre-configure it, and we do make like highly programmable, configurable devices. You can't like tune it or make it your own. You just have to like pull it out of a box, plug it in, and start gaming. And so the K-type is really good for that, and Kira probably will too. With the really compact ones, like the 60% for competitive gaming, James Bardolph, he is a Night Fox, and he apparently loves it. It's really fun. But he is like observing and playing, not, I guess, in the tournaments. Maybe he does play in tournaments too. I'm not 100% sure. But he wouldn't be able to like customize his own layout on the White Fox and then game with that or compete with that. And so that's just a different sort of thing. And so I kind of do get why like Razer makes tournament edition things. It is probably something that we'll have to do if we really do go into the tournament or esports niche deeper, of like make these esports optimized ones where we'll do some like weirder things on them. Like we might just make them with speed switches by default, because they have faster actuation. So it's like putting a hair trigger on a keyboard. And we might set it so that like it's optimized for rapid presses, which is like not necessarily something you want to do when typing, but it would be for sure something you'd want to do when gaming.
Yeah.
Because if you optimize for rapid presses, like some weird things start happening, and you want like really accurate, fast stuff, but you like literally never press the letter Q 100 times in a second normally. That's just not a thing that happens except when you're playing video games.
What about a tournament edition castle?
Well, I'll ask Brandon, and we'll see what we can do. I really like the castle keyboard. I'm super glad that you guys are doing the stream.
I'm really bummed it doesn't have a whiskey holder anymore.
Well, we can make an aftermarket add-on just for you.
Yes. I swear I'll use it. I really will.
Oh, I would too, for sure.
I have like 2 bottles of whiskey next to me.
Yep.
So, okay, actually, I have a quick question. So for the rapid pressing thing, how do you actually how is that accomplished? Is that something that's via like firmware software, or is there something you physically do to make a speed switch be able to register that fast?
So speed switch just has quicker actuation. I can pull up the graphs on Input Club and the comparative guide, but yeah, they just set actuation a little bit sooner. So like your finger moves down less. A lot of things that pro players will do is they'll like hover actuation, which is actually something that like Hako switches are really good at, because you can like figure out where actuation is and push them like most of the way down and then just kind of hover above that. Which is, I mean, you can do that, and it's like playing those games where you have to like put your hand in the middle like Egyptian rat screw, and you're like slapping, but your hand's already there. That's what a lot of people do. But with the speed switches, there's less gains from doing that, is basically the short of it. Which is why they're a thing, why they're popular. For sure,
yeah. When I used them, I used a couple of the speed switches when Kale first launched them, and one thing I noticed a lot is I made a lot more mistakes typing. Yeah. Like I would graze the cap wrong, and it would actuate. And so, I mean, for typing, that's probably less than ideal, at least for me. But for gaming, obviously, it does actuate sooner, and that is actually a perceivable thing. Like it's not like marketing mumbo jumbo. Like it actually actuates sooner, making the action happen faster, thus making your in-game actions happen faster. So. And
then on the other side, you mentioned the 2 parts. So speed switches, yes, have a physical thing that makes them faster, and speed is everything when you're playing. Like it just is. But also on the firmware side, there's a lot. There's a renaissance happening now with analog keyboards, which is something that the keyboard layout language (KLL) is designed to be able to handle into the future. We don't make any analog key switches yet, but anyway. But what, like, the way KLL functions deals with defining a trigger and a release and sort of what happens in between those two. And the short of it is it's really, really fast at doing that. It's got like N key rollover is inherent to the design. So it is a new firmware. It's not like it's just a new type of interface language. It's just what it is. It's not the same as QMK. It's not the same as TMK. It's a different thing, and like only engineers really will ever notice that. But as we do like fancier and fancier things with more languages and with analog switches, the differences between KLL and other stuff will become more apparent to like general people. And so the short of it is, right now it's rate limited by USB cables and the USB human interface device HID spec. And yeah, if you don't have to plug in with a USB cable, you can go faster than the HID spec, which the chips to enable such a thing for Bluetooth just came out. So that's what the future might hold. But like, there's a lot of prototyping, and a whole bunch of stuff has to be made by people other than us before you can get like dramatically higher performance of Bluetooth over Bluetooth without a cable. But it's something that like we're working on and putting the pieces in place such that it's possible in the future.
Awesome. So one thing I want to touch on, you mentioned KLL, you know, it's its own different thing. I just got to say, as someone who has a Night Fox and a K-type, so I'm a bit of a potato, like Cameron likes to describe himself. Brian's a bit of the same way. That's why we like Bootmapper Client.
I'm several potatoes.
Yeah. But like 2 weeks ago, for the first time, I actually tried the client-side configurator for KLL to configure my Night Fox around. That is really, really easy and really, really good. So I definitely got to give you guys props for doing that well, and hoping to see a lot of improvements, including macro support soon in the future, hopefully. So what was the main plan on working on the configurator? Because I know for a lot of people, in our chat, and a lot of people in the keyboard community really love QMK because of how flexible it is. But at the same exact time, there are people like Brian and I who probably would have been impossible for us to really dive deep into the community without Bootmapper Client and very simple things. Is that kind of the idea in developing the configurator alongside expanding KLL more?
Yeah, so there's two needs. Like I'm also a bit of a potato.
We're sacks of potatoes, Andrew. Let's not lie here.
We're potato sacks. For a long time, I was basically I'm the only person that really uses Windows at Input Club. Which the win of that is I get to like make the manuals for how to use the configurator on Windows. Yay! So it's designed to be configurable by someone who has no idea what they're doing pretty easily. I'd like it to be even simpler than it is. Right now, you can basically unbox and get to a totally programmed, totally custom layout in like less than 5 minutes just by following really simple YouTube instructions. I'd like for it to be like 30 seconds and completely intuitive, but that's contingent on a bunch of other things. I'll just loop you in. I'm going to finish the question, and then I'll explain a little bit of some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. So the short of it is, I want it to be really simple, but I also want people to dive super deep. So you can compile your own firmware. That's a thing that Jacob makes sure to do. So if you want to like go pro and really have it be however you want, there are different features that you can do when you compile your own firmware and like do everything from the command line. That you can't necessarily do with like a simple configurator, but they're pretty much at parity. They're pretty equivalent. So we want it to be for everyone. We want it to be accessible because keyboards are about accessibility, right? Like it's all about actually being able to use a computer. So if we made it like impenetrable to an average person like my mother or my grandma, then I would feel terrible about giving them a keyboard that has like it's unlocked. It's jailbroken. You can do whatever you want with it, except because you don't understand how to like program, you're not allowed. You don't get to experience this world. So we wanted both.
Yeah. Turns out when you're trying to sell keyboards to more than like a couple hundred people, it has to be easy. It has to be easy.
True. And right now it's too hard, by the way, for the mass market. Like Even our stuff, which is much simpler than QMK and much simpler than other things, is still too challenging for like most reviewers I talk to.
You need and like I hate to say it, but like people like Razer that just have like a downloadable GUI and it's like super stupidly easy. Obviously, I'm not endorsing Razer here, but like I have owned a Razer keyboard before, or a Corsair or Razer, one of the two, and like their programmers tend to actually be really easy to work with. To where pretty much anyone can do it, and that's something they're able to do right. You know, of course, they have millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars and lots of people on staff. But that's something that every other designer in the community needs to start realizing is we need that simplicity, man. QMK can be as powerful as it wants, but if only 100 people can use it,
it doesn't matter. Yeah, it only counts if someone's typing on it.
Yeah.
So the thing that I danced around, which I didn't say in the thing, is like, what is the engineering team at Input Club working on, and why aren't there all these things being added to the configurator every day? There's a bunch of reasons. One is most people at Input Club aren't really paid. They do this because they love it, and they have day jobs and do this on the side. And sometimes things get crazy. Like, we have a whole bunch of emergency stuff we have to do with Kira, and we need like all hands on deck to fulfill white foxes. And so stuff sometimes gets pushed to the side, or people are working on like, oh, we need to fix Kono so that we can ship all these things out, and we need you to adjust the like shipping API so that we can import 2,000 Kickstarter people into our fulfillment systems like database. Okay, then that gets in the way of things. The other thing is, and I think we've mentioned this before, is that there was a huge chip shortage on the chips that we used in the original White Fox, the Infinity keyboard, the Ergodox, and the K-Type. Basically, there's a company that makes stuff that they sell to another company, and that first one burned down. And this chip is in everything. It's in like toothbrushes, it's in webcams, and we talked with NXP, who is the people that we actually buy the chip from, that kind of like, there's a giant brokerage house that deals with people that make chips. And they were like, yeah, basically all of our support tickets every single day for the last 6 months are just, when can I get more of these chips that are the critical component? So instead of just having to compete against like Philips, who makes toothbrushes, which was impossible when you're any keyboard company,
wow.
We're porting everything over to a new chip. And we've been doing that for about the last 5 months, and there's a lot of work to it, but it's like, you can do a lot of really cool stuff. We're basically remaking everything from scratch again on a new chip architecture, but you have to like get everything that you've already done, that you've spent literal years working on, back up again on like a new thing, on a new architecture. It's like switching from Android to Mac OS or something like that, and there's similarities, but you still have to double check everything. And so in the background, that's the priority that we have right now for one very specific reason, which is all the new White Foxes. We basically have a cap. We have like 2,000 more of that chip, and then we just can't make them anymore unless we port them over to the new chip. And Kira is built entirely around the new chip, and so we can't make Kira unless we finish. So we are going to finish that, and we're set to finish it in the next 2 to 3 months, if basically that's all we work on engineering-wise. So that's what we're going to do.
Cool.
Someone is asking about the new K-Type. I don't know
Brandon.
This is Brandon.
Oh, he meant Kira, not K-Type. I do have the two Kiras right here, so I will show them off. This is Kira 1, so I put Berserk on it to showcase what it looks like. And this is the aluminum case that's dented, and it looks really good in person. I was like,
yeah, so it really does too. Yeah.
I just got this yesterday, and it's with blanks.
And that's the plastic version?
Yeah, they look the same.
They really do.
I have a picture of them side by side that I will share right here. Let's see, copy image address. And this is the plastic one. I mean, is the blank one, and the one that isn't blank with Berserk is the metal one. We are adjusting the chamfer on the aluminum one like a bit, so they'll be identical, but this is just, it happens in stages.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'll do a side profile of it just to show it off because it looks really sweet. And yeah, Jacobs, it's the SAM4S chip. So I just posted 2 links in chat. One is them side by side. So we're trying to do a really good job with the plastic to make it look really dope. Yeah. Because I think $200 is like this magical price point with keyboards, where if you are below $200, like a normal person can buy it, and if you're above $200, a normal person will not buy it. And so we wanted to be able to make Kira accessible to just normal people, as well as make it exactly what the community wanted, which is why we have 2 options, one that's metal. And I don't know if I've shown this before, but like the way that you make this metal ring, it's not like there's an easy way to do it, in case people are wondering why it's really expensive. You have to start with a brick of aluminum that's this big, and you basically just waste everything that is in the middle, and you recycle it and throw it away, but you're just milling out an entire brick. And
yeah, and so you guys would have to pay the price of that entire brick, correct?
And the machine time, which is a lot of money, actually. It's just really expensive, and there's a reason you've never seen anything kind of like this. Is because no one in their right mind would do it except us. So yeah. It's
not actually cost effective, but the Kira is still pretty reasonably priced. Fantastic. All right. Well, we're going to jump into a Q&A. Now is probably a good time. So if you guys have questions, we got answers. Make sure to use the @TopClack tag so we can see the questions a lot easier. If you got questions for Andrew, awesome, because obviously he's here. I'm going to start off with the real money question that's on everyone's mind. Oh. Why has it been 1 year since you updated your sandwich blog? I just posted a link to the sandwich blog in chat too, because I actually check in on it from time to time.
So I do all the writing. Like we brought on hi Mark, just Alec DeVry, to work with us and help me write. But every update, every email, every Facebook post, every picture that you see that's from Input Club, I do. And that's where all my writing goes. And there's a surprisingly, like, I do, it's a good thing we make keyboards and I like typing and I type fast, because if I didn't, this would be impossible. I'll make some posts.
What's your average words per minute?
I'm probably 100. I'm like, I go as fast as 120, like if I'm competing on a thing, but I can't really go much faster than that. And I average like between 80 and 100.
All right, right on. Yeah. No, I'm with Christmas Kate on this one. I think those are all excuses, Andrew. I think you need to drop. I think you need to drop Input Club entirely to focus on sandwich blog.
I had breakfast with a person who joked about that while I was eating a sandwich. It was like, they actually, when I first said I was writing a book on sandwiches, they gave me $20 and said, "I'm pre-buying your book." And so they feel that they've earned the right to give me shit for not working on it.
Well, then you could do like an autobiography about how you went from sandwiches to keyboards to sandwiches.
And it's a sandwich.
Oh my god, yes. It's a sandwich with a keyboard in it, and then another sandwich. So it's like,
sandwich style cases.
It's like super meta.
Yeah.
All right, Megaforce. I can't tell if this is a troll question or not, but I'll ask it. He's asking Andrew, "When are you coming back from Walmart? It's been a while, Dad."
I don't have any children that I know of.
I think you meant Walmart.
Yeah.
The Sky is 256K asking. Yeah, for real. This guy is 256K asking a real question. You said that the milling is expensive. Would milling it with an integrated plate be most cost effective?
Definitely not. We're using a steel plate in Kira, like a good thick one. Actually, interestingly enough, the aluminum Kira that I have here that I showed with Berserk has an aluminum plate, just because we were prototyping was really fast. But the plastic case one has a steel plate, and so it's actually heavier than the metal Kira right now, just because one of them has the production plate and one doesn't. But yeah, steel plates and aluminum plates, making them separate. I want you to just conceptually think about how production takes place just a little bit. And there's a graph in our last update. But basically, the short of it is cutting flat things is easy. It's what most people do. It's why the Ergodox had a sandwich like a layer case, is because flat things are just easier than things that are not flat. And with Kira, you get to look at like the side. Like this is about as not flat as you can get. It's like fairly inconvenient to make. And that makes it hard, which is why it's beautiful and why we like it and why it has nice aesthetic touches. But plates, like when you can work with a flat thing, anytime do that when you're making stuff, because it's cheaper, it's easier, it's quicker to ship, there's less defects. When there are defects, you can see them, because if you have a defect on a plate, it's like, oh, it's bent, and you can just see that. Like you put it down on a flat surface and you notice that it's not flat. With like certain other cases or things that have aspects that you can't just lay them down like that, QC can be more challenging. And so integrating the plate in, that's what we did on the K-type. And we did it because it was absurd, and because we were doing open source product. And we were like, yeah, let's, like, we almost joked like we were going to do the K-type to find a factory that was good enough to make our product, because it was so insanely hard that anyone that copied the open source designs, we would just be like, they're pretty good. Let's just give them a call.
Nice. Yeah, and also on the same vein, like, how would you do an integrated plastic plate?
Well, you could with the Ergodox plate.
Yeah.
The switches don't click in, and so on the Ergodox they just kind of like sit in, and the click things don't do what they're supposed to do, but they're soldered in, so you kind of never notice that. But on something like Kira, where it's hot swap,
you can't. Yeah, you can't. You can't. All right. Once Saved Gaming is asking, now that we've had another week, will Necro make MOQ this time around? It's not looking that good. They need 250 orders. I think last I checked the other day, they were at like 67 combined orders. That's between all of the proxies and stuff. So it's still not looking very good. If I had to guess, I would say it's not going to make it again. I would like it to make it. I like Necro, but it's I don't know. I guess people are just not that into the set. Soitar is asking, when will Kale Silent box switches come out? We've talked to Mike of Novel Keys about this before, in the more recent episode where he was on as well. He said that Kale has no current interest in making silent switches, so it might be a little while.
I'll bring it up next week too. I'm going to Kale. I'm going to go visit with them and hang out and take pictures and smile and drink fragrant gasoline with them. They're a lot of fun. They're really good people over there too.
Oh, nice.
It's why Mike at Novel Keys gets along with them so well, because he's also a very good person, and like pleasant people just kind of have a nexus where they find other pleasant people and do stuff with them.
Why do you get along with them then? Gotcha. but seriously.
I'm nice when I'm drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, just keep drinking. Texas Breakfast is saying, when is the Type Racer Top Clack contest?
Soon.
I don't know, but I don't want to be a part of it.
Bring it.
He's pretty fast.
Xagrandi is saying, To go back to the esports thing for a second, tournament organizers usually require players/teams to hand in their peripherals so that the techs can make sure there is no third-party software. That's
normal. Sounds normal.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Good thing we don't require third-party software.
Yep. Christmas Kate is asking a question for Andrew. All right, what do you think about the sandwich keyboard cases?
I love them. They're awesome.
Is that a troll question, though? If you a troll question?
It is, but I still think they're really cool, and they're very easy to make because I like making flat things.
Interesting. Okay. Polyzoo is saying, thank you for all of the dedicated time and hard work. As a company, how do you see yourself scaling up from this point while keeping true to the integrity of the keyboard community? And then there's kind of a separate question. How do your parents feel about you making a career based on the niche of mechanical keyboards and Input Club?
Well, they're pretty enthusiastic about it. Well, I'll start with my parents as the answer. They're really into it. They think it's fun. My dad's an engineer, and my mom just is pleased that, I don't know, she likes typing on the keyboards. She thinks the foxes are cute. My grandma also is a huge supporter. She's like buys more things on Kono than anyone else and gives out T-shirts and hats to all my cousins. So it's like a whole family thing. They're really into it. In terms of staying true, likely as we do grow, we're probably going to start making some like super entry level products that are still like a lot better than all the other entry level ones. But we'll probably expand on some of our partnerships. Like we invited Monoprice to help us with our Kickstarter last time, and they really focus on entry level affordable stuff. And the only reason that they wanted to do the White Fox was because they just like us, because they think that we do good work and that we make cool keyboards. So in short, we'll probably just have easier, like we'll just like increase the standards by which a peripheral is at each price point. And we'll still do really fancy ones and continuously do that and come work with designers in the community and make new designs. But we'll also probably expand to some entry-level stuff so that we could get a keyboard on Amazon, for example. Like some of the White Fox and Night Fox might do well on Amazon someday, but it's not really an Amazon product.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we also made Kono is we are like pretty ardent supporters of the internet and like open source culture and just open things like at Input Club. I don't know if anyone's ever noticed this, but you can't have links on Amazon. That's just like a foundation of their platform is when you're on Amazon, they don't really want you going elsewhere. And Jacob and I, whenever we write, we generally consider it a failure if we output a paragraph that doesn't have a link in it. So we try to link everything because there's cool talks like explaining what a PBT keycap is on Desk Authority, and we like the rabbit hole. We like diving in and learning about stuff. And you just can't really tell the story of a White Fox without any links. You can't talk about Mateo. You can't link to like the creating of it. You can't like see what was going on behind the scenes. You can't talk about the Kickstarter. And most importantly, with this fully programmable object, you can't link to the configurator so that someone could see how they would program it before they bought it. And
yeah.
We just looked at that and were like, oh my gosh, how would we even make something that works on Amazon where we can't do any outbound links? And so we'll look into it. It's something that like the manufacturers that we work with really want us to do, and a lot of partners have wanted us to do. And it's a question I get literally every time I talk to a reporter, like, "Hey, how can I buy your stuff on Amazon?" I was like, "Oh, well, I don't have time to get it."
You can go up to your browser and click the Amazon link, remove it, and then type in kono.store. That's how you get it on Amazon.
But in their defense, I like buying things on Amazon.
For sure. It's often very convenient.
Yeah, so we'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and also, I mean, this question obviously wasn't for me, but to add on to it, like staying true to the integrity of the keyboard community as you get larger. I mean, some things just kind of change as you get larger, but one thing that Input Club does a good job on is they're really in tune with people like, you know, Huey and I, and with a lot of the popular designers of the community, and like, you know, like we kind of have this finger on the pulse of like all of the enthusiast community, because like this is what we do. Like we talk about enthusiast stuff. Like we go through it all, you know, every week, and like that's just what we do. And so when you have that kind of relationship with people and that kind of information available, it's like, you know, what is going on this week, and you know, what do we do about this and that, and you know, we can get information flowing a lot better that way, as opposed to, you know, someone much larger than Input Club, like, you know, Corsair, like they don't have any idea what's going on in the keyboard community. They're like, oh, this bottom row makes sense, blah blah blah, and it's like, well, hold on a second. There's a lot of reasons why you're failing, but like they don't care because whatever.
Yeah.
But Input Club does care. So
2 years ago at CES, we showed the K-Type to Corsair before we even launched it. We just had one. I was walking around with a battery charger in my pocket and the cable plugged into the K-Type, so it's lighting up, and I'm just walking around. We don't have a booth, right? Like it costs $5 or $6 grand for a booth at CES. We don't have that kind of money.
yeah.
So I'm just walking around visiting with the different keyboard people and tech companies with a keyboard on my arm that's lighting up and playing an animation. And we go towards the end of the show to Corsair's booth to show them off, because I know a bunch of people at Corsair. I worked with them when I worked at Mastrop. And their CEO just happened to be in their suite. And he was looking at that going like, what's that? Very interesting. Huh, Type-C cables. What consumer would ever want that? And I just remember going like, did you just say that? Like, why would you not want that? And that was his comment on the K-Type. Like, literally the only thing he had. And then he dipped out, and we talked with other people at it, and we never wound up working with Corsair with it. They expressed some interest, set up some meetings. It never went anywhere. But I do think it's funny that probably the deal breaker, the USB cable, man. He didn't like Type-C.
Okay. That's very, very odd for...
Yeah. Woke me up.
Yeah. What's funny is he probably doesn't like know or care that much about tech, like anyways. He's just, I mean, he's the CEO of a big company. Like just give me money, man.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, sorry for all that rambling. Texas Breakfast is asking, what is your favorite custom that is not made by Input Club?
Ryan Norbauer's stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely up there. I don't know if I'd say I have like an absolute, like, this one thing is my favorite thing of all custom keyboards. I've kind of grown past that, and I just like a lot of things, and I just like a lot of things. Norbauer stuff is really good, though. It's
like, so Topre by itself is basically nicer than most objects in anyone's life, right? And he like found a way to make Topre a lot nicer.
Yeah.
Okay, like it's not like an easy thing. It's like, oh, let's put the Eiffel Tower on top of the pyramids and have it just work. Like, he made it work.
Flux Capacitor is asking for Andrew, did you help design that White Fox carrying case? That thing is very, very nice.
That's my contribution to the project. Yes, I did design it.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, thank you.
Dath91 is asking, how do you guys feel about Evan from the Van Keyboards using other people's colorways for hub, as well as advertising on other people's GB?
I think, so I'll answer one. I promoted Evan's Kickstarter on our group, on the Kickstarter. I sent an email out to people. We posted on our Facebook. I really want it to succeed because I think what he's doing is ambitious and cool. In terms of colorways, like, his stuff is pretty unique. He did a bunch of new things with his designs, and like, no one owns colorways.
Tell that to most of the enthusiast community.
But like, what I don't like is when you make a thing and an average community member could look at it and be like, that's that. Like, we get people that clone White Fox stuff all the time, and you could just like look at their design for a bit and you'd think it was a White Fox until you actually looked at it up close, or you realized the font was slightly different, or like something. And so if you're like trying to confuse people and play off someone else's name, that's not cool. You shouldn't do that. If you're making something and you have something to add, like, you can't just say that like white and blue are owned, right? That's absurd. If that were the case, then Coca-Cola would just crush anyone who made anything red and white, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm kind of that mind too. I think colorways should effectively just be opened. I don't really see the reason not to. I mean, I'm not a designer. I know a lot of designers might argue against that, and you know, if you put 3 or 4 colors together, it's like, bam, this was my idea, and it needs to be mine, and nobody else should be using this. Like, whatever. I don't know. Like, I'm not. We've discussed this numerous times on the show before. You know, this topic is not new. So
the problem is people are confused. So if it becomes a problem, you have to deal with it. If like you and express courtesy to other designers, it's a small community. Like you mentioned, all the guys in Germany, right? Like that's like half of all the major designers, and it's just 5 people.
Yeah.
So there's like Matteo does a lot of designs. Like Granite is very notable, and Angelo does a ton of designs. It's not like we're not talking a huge quantity of people, and it's not like they aren't accessible. You can just message any of them, and if you're running group buys that are successful, you know someone who knows one of the other people. You're like 1 degree of separation away. You can just reach out and check if it's cool. And if they're like rude about it or something, or not cool about it, I don't know, think about your design a little more and make it a little bit better. Like maybe there's something you noticed and they saw it. I don't know, like just be kind to one another. The keyboard community is a great community. Everyone in it is pretty awesome. There's no reason to add drama and shittiness to it.
Yep, exactly. As far as how we feel about Evan using the colorways, I have very little comment on that. I think Evan's a pretty good guy. I think he generally has the community's best interests at heart. I think he's trying to do different and unique things that are cool, both for the community and himself. And hey, man, he's ambitious, and I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if he's able to ask, if he's like legitimately like stealing color for color of other like key sets that have been designed, and like Andrew mentioned, ask him. Just like ask him. Like it's really not hard. It's really not hard. Like you can message anyone in the community, and chances are they'll get back to you.
I talk to a ton of people every day, and so does Huey, so does Brian, so do all of these people that are making things are like. Yeah.
I wake up to like a dozen people PMing me about like random stuff, and like I get back to all of them.
Yep.
Like it's not hard. We have so many, like, especially like platforms like Discord and Slack and even Reddit. It's just like it's not hard to get a hold of someone. It's really not. Anyways, we're pretty far behind on questions, so we're gonna pick up the pace. We're gonna
lightning round.
Be a lightning round. All right, and Go Hide is asking, what do you think? Oh no, wait, sorry. That's a different question. My bad. What do you think of Evan showing such high quality renders when there's a low chance of it looking like that, or render bait in general? I don't understand the problem. Are high quality renders good?
I think he means high quality is possibly misleading renders.
What's misleading about the hub renders?
I don't know. There's a lot of people who believe that they're not going to turn out as nice as the renders, or
the legends, or the colors,
both.
Or
everything about it. I mean,
okay.
It's hard to say because they're not made yet.
Welcome to things being rendered versus things being created.
Yeah.
I mean, you're rendering something that doesn't exist. You can't compare something that exists versus something that doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, and the whole process is insanely difficult. So I'd invite people. I'll pitch my own storefront. Go to Kono and check out Kira, because in the product images, we have both renders and pictures. And I think Brandon and Angelo's the designer, Brandon's the mechanical engineer who put this together. He did just like a really good job of actually making the thing, like how it was rendered, visually accurate. And it looks basically how it was rendered. It's very, very close. There's some differences, but like all of Evan's stuff in Hub looks pretty plausible. Like I'm not worried about their ability to output it. They output light cycle. They did it, like they can do this. It's not impossible.
Yeah. Okay. Side note: at 15 minutes behind in chat, Twitch cuts me off. So I've probably already lost a couple questions to that. So if you really wanted an answer to your question, feel free to ask it again. But we need to continue on with this lightning round.
Okay.
Because Twitch is silly. Raya's Squatch is asking, when will Holy Pandas start coming out of the factory, Kappa? Probably never. Box Royals, maybe the closest thing to it. So definitely support Box Royals if you want something that's similar, though not exactly the same.
We'll be talking to Kaiwa next week when we're in China. I don't know if that's in the cards. I don't want to promise anything about it. I have literally no idea. It's a complex situation. And as I've said before, Input Club would always rather make new cool stuff than rehash old work. So that's kind of how we think about things.
Gotcha. All right. This guy is 56K is asking HHKB Input Club board.
We did the IC60, so yeah, we might do a HHKB variant of it someday, because it was based on a layout called HHKB V3, which is just a merging of HHKB and poker that someone like drew up on a layout, and we just wanted to prove that we can make things that someone drew on a napkin.
All right. Melodit is asking, what is your end game cable?
Oh, I found the end game cable. We found it. It just cost $10, so we are waiting. So we've already found it. It exists. The true cable has been made, and we're waiting for them to get cheaper.
Awesome.
Raya Squatch is asking, when is entry-level $30 programmable keyboard?
We're never going to be able to make that. And I say never, not on any timeline I am aware of, and I run timelines at Input Club.
Programmable $30 keyboard is a tall order, especially to have it not be shitty.
Yeah, the chip costs like when we bought the chips for the White Fox, they cost like $8 a piece. That's just the part you program.
Yeah, and then you still have switches, caps, PCB,
the
housing,
the keyboard itself,
PCB. Yeah, like there's a lot that goes into it. I think at like $50 you could start doing like an entry level keyboard. Donut Cables is asking, if the aluminum Kira was meant to be more enthusiast version of the board, why not go with a solderable PCB and layout options rather than sticking to the hot swap PCB?
You can solder hot swap. I wouldn't. There's literally no reason you would ever do that. It's like, how can I have less in my life? But you can.
Yeah. Well, I think the question, the way he's kind of stemming it, is more like, why not just save the money, remove the hot swap sockets, and also not be limited to a layout by the hot swap sockets?
Hot swap, I think, is like a feature that will have to be in really cool keyboards going forward.
It's a lot more important than people realize.
Yeah, like it makes it so that
for like the average consumer, it's really
like
really
my
big.
6-year-old cousin can build a keyboard now. That's a huge deal, because we need more people, and multiple layouts are cool, and I like supporting them, and we'll probably do them long term. But hot swap is such like the Lego feature of it's the Lego keyboard. It's too cool not to do. So let's just roll with it and do new stuff.
Yeah. It got eaten by Twitch, but I kind of remembered it. I forgot who asked it, though, but it was a good question. They were asking, how many people do you have at Input Club working, and what do you all do to keep the ball rolling?
Oh, that's a hell of a question. I only mostly know. There's like 3 people that are actually like making money, and we don't get paid very much, much less than we did at our normal jobs, because this is a startup and we try to be really scrappy and put all of our money into like building keyboards. Everyone else has day jobs and does this in their copious spare time, where they have both day jobs and children, most of them. So yeah, we probably have at any given time a week about 6 people dedicating maybe 10 to 20 hours to Input Club related things. I hope that answers your question. We work with contractors and with other people in the community regularly to be like a little bigger than we are. So maybe that answers it a little more further. Usually I or Cameron manage that. And yeah, that's about how big we are. And we're not really we're not planning on growing to be like a 20 or 100 person company. We'll probably get 1 or 2 more people, maybe 3 or 4 over the next year or 2. And we've kind of designed the entire company to be an exercise in making like a very efficient workflow, which is how we're able to like put together a really good e-commerce thing that's basically staffed by 1 person who's not an engineer.
Gotcha. Yeah. Megaforce donates 500 bits. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Love bits. Little bits. Little bits. Geo is asking, when is Huey getting his case? I don't know what he's talking about, though.
Nightfox case. Because I was sent one, and then I was told by Cameron, you guys sold out of all of them, so I have to wait until you guys get some.
Oh, the carrying case. Okay,
carrying case.
Gotcha.
One of these things.
I have one I can send you this week.
Awesome. Is it the correct matching Nightfox one?
Of course.
Yes.
But yeah, we definitely did some logistical issues with the carrying cases, where we didn't produce enough because we forgot that kits also need a case. So we're like, oh, 1 per keyboard, boom, great. And we'll order like 100 or 200 extra. And then like there's just this huge quantity of people on Kickstarter that ordered a Nightfox kit plus a White Fox, or like a Nightfox, and they just added it on, and basically all of our extras just got allocated to fulfilling Kickstarter people. And the turnaround time on the stuff is like 2 to 3 months. So from the time we noticed that we'd screwed up, we're like a month in. We're going to China next week, and we'll have updates on timelines, but we won't even get it for another 2 months before we can start getting them out.
All right. Kuji is asking me, am I going to keep or sell my solarized dark GMK set? I haven't even gotten it yet. I was like, yo, J-Chan, you got, like, I texted him because he's like not even like in the community like that actively these days because real life stuff. I was like, hey, you got these solarized dark sets? And he's like, yeah, I got some extra. And I was like, can I buy one? He's like, yeah. So I paid him. Like, this was a few weeks ago. And he was like, oh, all right, I'll send it out to you on Friday. That was like 2 or 3 Fridays ago. So I haven't gotten it. He's busy, whatever. I'm not really in a rush. I haven't seen the set in person yet, so I don't know if I'm going to keep it or sell it. Can't answer that question yet, unfortunately. Melody is asking, are any of Hub's colorways even that specific to an individual? I haven't really looked through the list. Some of them seemed pretty like themed. Like I remember I saw a post on Reddit recently that he was like, here is the Pulse version of Hub, or the Hub version of Pulse. So I don't know. Maybe they're close. Maybe they're not.
The Dreamweaver set is pretty close to Hyperfuse in a lot of ways. And I like that. Like, I like Hyperfuse. I think it's a great set. I think this is different from Hyperfuse, but definitely, like, it felt like Hyperfuse when I looked at it. But part of the point of why he's doing this is to make it super easy to, like, mix and match sets. Like, I don't know, have you seen the thing that he put in where you can, like, build your own set. So if you get like 6 sets, there's a tool to like mix and match the sets. Let me I have a link to it, and he did it with Kira, which is kind of awesome. And I think I put it in our update. So let me grab that link and I'll put it in chat. But like that's definitely core to what he's doing is this. Okay, where's Twitch?
While you post it up, Brian, what's the next question?
Yeah, this one's for you. Be the Zebra is asking, what color Alice are you getting, Huey?
People already answered in chat, gray.
Gotcha. Well, while we're on the topic of hub, the next question is as well. The Dota Guru is asking, why do you think he's still completely ignored the cost question until today? I don't know. I haven't talked to Evan in a very long time. I don't know what he is and is not ignoring. That's totally his prerogative.
Yeah, I haven't been paying that much attention to the group buy until like today, because people are like, "Hey Huey, do you have popcorn?" I'm like, "No," and they're like, "Get some, read this." I'm like, "Okay." So I read through it.
I know in the in our Top Clack Discord, Mike of Novel Keys was saying like his $500,000 goal like isn't really like that outrageous. Apparently, Mike has gotten quotes in the past for like all new tooling and stuff, and it's been like $300,000 plus. And also, you have to take into account all the, the plastic and the tooling and the labor and whatever for the sets that are being ordered for Hub. So, other people that are kind of in the same industry, saying that $500,000 is not that outrageous. I don't know. I'm not one of those people.
It's super affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Keycaps are expensive.
To someone like me, that seems like a lot of money and like way more than he needs for this, but I don't know. So it's like I'm never going to say that I'm right on that.
Anything small is typically hard with plastic, and Double Shot in particular has lots of like you don't think about it, but like a Q or a W is like a very small, complex character, and then you have to do that like 100 times. It's just hard. That's all.
Sweaty Yeti donates 300 bits. Thanks you for that.
Man.
Appreciate that, man. Hope your Yeti is sufficiently sweaty. PMSing Chicken. Great username. Huey, what kind of motorcycle do you have, and what is your favorite?
I have an NC700X right now, which I just mainly have just because I commute a lot with it, so I just wanted something easy and reliable. If I had to pick a favorite motorcycle, the Street Triple. Classic. Everyone loves the Street Triple.
All right. Dath, still on topic for the hub, says, you forgot to answer a second question before. What do you think of Evan promoting his Kickstarter on other people's group buys like SA Pulse on Mastrop?
Yeah, I'd say it's a bit dodgy. I honestly wouldn't support. I wouldn't want to do that if I was running my own set. Because basically someone commented, "Oh, what sets do I need to buy for this compatibility?" And Evan responded, "Just buy Hub instead, or you don't have to worry if you go get Hub," as a response. And this was posted directly on a Mastrop discussion page.
That's a little strange. Yeah, I don't know if I'd endorse that personally.
I think that's the wrong way to go about it.
Obviously, you have to advertise, but the right way to advertise isn't to go directly into someone else's group buy and say, "Hey, buy this instead." That's definitely not really the best way to do it. Kuji is asking, anyone going to run a PBT key set for Kale Chalk Low Pro?
No.
Not that we're aware of yet. I think it could be done. It probably will be done eventually. Lunar Sama is asking, why is the notification bot on Discord sometimes late for the Twitch streams? The bot sometimes gets sick.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is, unfortunately. Sometimes the bot is like really ambitious that day, and sometimes the bot is like throwing up, like praying to the porcelain god in the bathroom, like really hungover. We've all been there. Sometimes it happens. We like the bot either way. This guy's 256K is asking, does everyone who works with Input Club work in-house or some work remote?
Most people work in their houses. But yeah, I'm in the office right now. We're going to have to move in maybe a month or two. Jacob comes here in the evenings. I'm usually here during the days. Rowan stops by occasionally. Most people are elsewhere. Some of our teams in Brooklyn, Arizona, Denver area. Yeah, like most people just work at home, and we meet once a week and talk about things, and that's how we organize our company.
As long as it works for you, that's what matters.
Since we're going to quite a bit overtime, let's just pick 2 or 3 last good questions and wrap it up there. That's
all right. Let me do a really quick scroll through, and find any ones that aren't troll. Okay, we're actually mostly caught up.
Perfect.
The last pretty good one here, I'm going to say, is another one from 256K. Asks, will Input Club sell cases by themselves ever?
Yes. We have kits up right now. We'll have a whole kit builder long term. We're actually working on a rework of Kono to be able to handle doing kits better, so that you can like mix and match and build your dream kit. And like, if we have a cool keycap set that's got White Fox compatibility, you can like add that at checkout and things like that. Cool stuff. We do have Datamancer wooden cases up right now if you really want a case. They're very cool, in the 2 different wood types, and yeah, they're very beautiful. But for the metal cases, and I guess also you could be referring to the plastic or the EVA carrying cases, we'll be making all of those things available individually. I did mention earlier in a previous question that the EVA cases do have, we screwed up on logistics. And so we're scrounging for every last one that we have, and we've ordered more, but things just take time.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that'll wrap us up then.
Yeah.
Andrew, thank you so much for spending your time to join us. It's been a real treat to have you on again. Hopefully we can see more sandwich information from you in the near future.
I'm feeding, man. I'm about to write my own article on the site. Come on, man. Like, do something.
Send me one. I'll post it. You can do a guest post.
I know you will.
Yeah. And also next week, we'll be. I'll be in China for the first time, and we'll be taking lots of pictures and like posting stuff to Input Club's Facebook, and probably emailing out to people and mentioning it in the Discord channel about what's going on in China at all of these keyboard factories, because we're basically only going for like esports, gaming, and keyboards, and that's literally all we're going to be doing over there for like 2 straight weeks. So if you're curious about that, you could go follow our Facebook page or follow us on Instagram or whatnot, or just join our Discord. And for whatever reason, Discord works in China behind the Great Firewall. Couldn't tell you why. Most things don't. Discord does. Awesome. So we'll be messaging things on Discord and sharing pictures and whatnot. So yeah, it should be pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, as usual, everyone, make sure you check the links below. You can find our Top Clack official Discord there, as well as a link to our YouTube channel, which we'd love you to subscribe to. Helps us out a ton. We got content always rolling out of there. Trying to do got a lot of really cool things in the work, guys. A lot of really cool things that we keep secret. But they're coming. They're coming. They're good.
I believe in you. Thank you.
That makes one of us. Just kidding. Always believe in Top Clack.
Well,
all right.
Don't forget, everyone, join me tomorrow. Join Brian and possibly me tomorrow at 3 or 4. We'll have updates in the Discord, so join to find out, where he'll be joined by a ton of awesome designers over in Europe, while later on that evening I will be on with Overkill of Input Club, and we'll be doing the castle design stream per the norm. We're making great progress. If you haven't checked it out recently, you definitely should. It's shaping up quite nicely. Otherwise, keep an eye out on Top Clack content and build streams, which we'll have this weekend as well. Yeah, it's going to be fun in the sun. Feel free to always, subscribe. Check us out, Top Clack, every Thursday, 6 p.m. Check out Input Club. Check out Kono.store. Check out all of our wonderful sponsors. Thank you, everyone who's subscribed with Twitch Prime and everyone who's donated bits tonight. Hope you all have a wonderful evening. See you next time.
Adios.